Good afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Friday. It is October 11th. And got some horses over at Santa Anita today for their Friday card that I like. I'm going to make a late pick 5. Also going to play the $3 turf pick 3 as well as the late $3 pick 3. Those are those low takeout plays that seem to be coming back and delivering nice payoffs for the players. So I'm going to jump into those pools and try those. So let's get started here at Santa Anita. So the fourth race starts up the late pick 5. Fourth race is a mile and an eighth on the grass. This is for 25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 in their lifetime. So condition claimers, these are your bottom rung turf horses in Southern California. So, these are horses that, maybe been knocking around in this condition. Some of them just have been a disappointment and their connections are getting realistic and putting them in this condition. Either way, I think it just makes for a very, challenging race and a good race to start off this pick 5. So I'm going to put 4 horses in to get this pick 5 started. I'm going to put the 4 horse for Phil D'Amato. This is Spagliato. Now, this is a horse that's dropping. These are big connections that own this horse. They've been running this horse, maiden special weight, broke his maiden at Gulfstream a couple of years back, and then been running in allowance races and just kind of running even races, less than even. So they're getting realistic. Put this horse in for a claim. 5-2. Rispoli takes the call. This horse is certainly live in this kind of race. Going to also put the 5 horse with Circle of Champions. Now, Circle of Champions comes in for Carla Gaines. Now, this is a horse that has been running, in and around these conditions and just, again, running even races. Has a long record at Santa Anita on the turf. 1 win there out of 14, but has a couple placings as well. And, depending on this race, how this race is run, this horse certainly could be live as well. Ricardo Gonzalez gets the call, 9-2 in the program. Going to also put the 6 horse, who was Bert's prospect, for Sean McCarthy. This is a Calbred here who's been running in special weights, broke his maiden in a special weight at Santa Anita, and, ran an allowance, a couple allowance races, didn't fare too well, so they're getting realistic, putting this horse in for a 25,000 claim. We'll see if he's good enough, 8-1. And then finally the 7, who is Night Out, another for Phil D'Amato. Again, D'Amato's dropping this horse into a claim. Hernandez takes the call. Hernandez is always dangerous. In a race that just seems to be a lot of horses that are trying to find their level, I think, one of these 4 horses should get your pick 5 started off, appropriately. So that's the 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the 5th race. It is a maiden 20,000 claimer. It's a mile on the dirt. And, these are fillies here who've been, again, a lot of them have been kind of knocking around in this level. And, they're trying to get their first maiden broken. So there is a big favorite here that I'm going to go against. That's the 7 horse, who is Girl Can't Help It, for Gary Mandela. Kyle Frey takes the call. Frey's been riding this horse. This horse just doesn't break out of the gate. If you look at all of her races, you study her replays, she just gives herself way too much to do. She doesn't get out of the gate, gives herself way too much to do, and let's just face it, she's not talented enough to give herself that much to do and try to win a race. So, 6-5 if she wins today, okay, well, it's not my day, but I'm going against her. I've got the 4, who is Take Care of Me, for James Cassidy. Now, Cassidy's a guy, he's been around for a long time. It looks like maybe he's in semi-retirement. He only runs a few horses here and there. And but Cassidy certainly can train. This horse has run in the maiden claiming conditions. Hasn't gotten it done yet, because she is 0 for 7. But I just feel like this is certainly a light enough field. This horse looks like, could have some speed here at a mile. And as we've seen, the horses that are running up close and these lower rung maiden races, the speed is pretty good. Horses have to be close, and they do well. So this horse, 9-2, Pereira takes the call, could be live here. Then I'm also going to put the 5 horse, who's Auditory, for Francisco Garcia. Now, Garcia took over for Mike Pipey. I don't know, Pipey hasn't been back yet, so I don't know how long this guy's been put on the bench. But Garcia has taken over. Hasn't done all that great here. But again, this is a lower level race. This horse is dropping into the lowest that she's been in. She had been running, ran in maiden special weight, ran for 50, ran for 62.5. This $20,000 level, should be to her liking. Ayuso takes the call, 2-1. So I think the 4 or 5 gets it done and ends up beating the big favorite in the 7. All right, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the 6th race. This is a 6 furlong grass race on the flat grass course. These are Calbred fillies, allowance level, first level allowance horses. And, I just don't have a strong opinion here. I'm putting 4 horses in. I'm putting the 5. I'm putting the 5 is Nene Diamond, Francisco Garcia. As I mentioned, Garcia, it's hard to rely on him, so you can't single this horse at 5-2. But I'm going to put him in here. Juan Hernandez takes the call at 5-2. Going to put the 6 horse, who is Ms. Club Cali, Antonio Garcia with this horse. And, this is another horse who, she broke her maiden in special weights, running a little bit longer over at Del Mar, and she shortens up here. She certainly has the talent to win this type of first level allowance horse. Hector Barrios, Hector seems to make the right calls on these sprint races. He saves ground and finishes up strong. That's 9-2 on the 6 horse. I'm going to also put the 7 horse, who is Sassy Prancelot, Phil D'Amato. D'Amato's seems to have a lot of live ones here today. Kyle Frey takes the call. This horse has been sprinting over at Del Mar in the 5 furlong grass races. Probably just not what she wants to do. Even though the breeding, certainly says sprint, but maybe 5 furlongs too short for her. So, maybe this extra furlong here, the 6 furlong layout at Santa Anita, could be more to her liking. At 8-1, certainly a live one. And then Proof She Zips. Proof She Zips for Michael McCarthy. Now, I've always liked this horse. They brought this horse from up north. I like the Idiot Proof horses. I think they do well on these turf sprints. She got it done in her first race at Santa Anita back in February of last year. After that win, she subsequently got purchased, I believe, and I'm not sure what the, purchase price is. We don't see that, but she got purchased privately, by Eclipse and Gary Barber. So, these guys have some deep pockets. And, she's run a couple nice races. Apparently something went amiss because we've only seen her once this year. That was back in April. This was down the hill. And, she ran an even enough race as the favorite that day. So it must have been word out and training well. But anyway, Proof She Zips gets Rispoli on her, 3-1. I think she's live here. So that's the 5, the 6, the 7, and the 8. All right, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the 7th race. These are 2-year-olds, California maiden claimers, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt here. And, let's just face it, they're putting $50,000 as the price here, but I don't know that anyone's going to dip in and pay $50,000 for any of these horses. I'd be kind of surprised. I'm going to put 2 horses in. I just don't see a whole lot of talent. But I do, there's 2 horses here, and I do have a win bet on one of them. So I'm going to put the 7, who is Mr. Machu Picchu, for Jeff Bondi. This horse has been kind of knocking around at this level, had been running in special weights, but, ran twice in the maiden, 50,000 over at Del Mar. It's run even races, 8-5, certainly in a field void of talent. Horses is live. Then I'm going to put the 8 horse, who is Silverado Storm, for Luis Mendez, and he puts on Escobedo. Escobedo's a guy who was ridden for Mendez before. Now, I like this horse. I'm going to make a win bet on this horse as well. This horse is 5-1. Now, the reason I like this horse has just run with better. He's got 2 starts, and, first was in a maiden special weight over at Del Mar as a Calbred special weight. And I thought ran a decent race, got out there and competed for a little while, then backed off. Then they ended up putting this horse into open company special weights over at Del Mar. And this horse went and took the lead, from a nice horse in Kalia Bay. That's a big Bob Baffert purchase price. I ended up having the lead there and ended up backing off. So, I thought the horse showed enough talent that in a maiden 50 for Calbreds only, I think this horse gets much faster today. Luis Mendez has been known to make these kind of moves and win. We know that, his specialty is the young horses, the new horses in these maiden races. So 5-1, Escobedo, I think he's a good jock. He doesn't get a lot of chances, but getting a horse out certainly is something he does. So that's the 8 Silverado Storm. So I've got a win bet on him. And then for pick 5 purposes, I've got the 7 and the 8. All right, now let's move over to the last race of the day. Last race of the day is the 8th race. It's a mile on the grass. This is $50,000 starter allowance horses. And I thought they put together a nice field of horses. There's 8 horses in here. There's a horse I do really like. I'm going to single here, and that's the 4 horse, who's Phosphorescence. Now, I've mentioned this horse before. This horse ended up winning probably one of the closest photo finishes you'll ever see in horse racing, but certainly at Del Mar. This horse ended up getting up by a nose last time. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. This horse, I thought, ran really nicely in his last 2 races. This horse had been on the shelf for a while. We hadn't seen this horse since December of 23. Now this horse has had 2 starts at Del Mar. Ran a 5 furlong sprint race and a very even race in the starter allowance here. Same kind of level. Ran a nice race, and then when they put this horse long at 1 mile and a 16th, he got it done. And at 3-1 here, I feel like this horse is probably looking like he's in good shape right now. I think this horse should get it done again at 1 mile, probably on or close to the lead. And, just see if you can come and catch me. I'm going against probably what's going to be a big chalk in the 3 horse, who is Lahaina Flavor for Patrick Gallagher and Rispoli. They're putting blinkers on this horse. I think they're just trying to figure out what they can do to get a win. This horse has run with some better horses, but then he's also run in this starter level allowance race and hasn't gotten it done. So I think there's just kind of a tricky horse to ride, doesn't like to win. Patty Gallagher is a good trainer, but Gallagher certainly hasn't gotten it done either this year. So 7-5 on this horse, I think, is a play against. And that's why I'm going to go with the 4 horse with Phosphorescence as a single, as well as I'm going to make a win bet on Phosphorescence as well. So let's recap the day. I've got the pick 5 ticket, which starts in the 4th race. And then also we've got the turf pick 3 and the late pick 3. So let's go over those as well. Let's recap this. All right, so let's recap the pick 5 starting in the 4th race. I've got the 4, 5, 6, and 7 with the 4, 5, with the 5, 6, 7, 8, with the 7, 8, with the single on the end. That's the 4 horse Phosphorescence. That pick 5 ticket is a $32 ticket. Now let's move over to the pick 3, the turf pick 3. Now today, the turf pick 3 includes races 4, 6, and 8. So in the turf pick 3, I've got the 4, 5, 6, 7, with the 5, 6, 7, 8, with the 4 singled. So in that turf pick 3, that's a $48 ticket. And then I'm also going to jump into the last pick 3, which is a $3 bet, low takeout. That's races 6, 7, and 8. I've got the 5, 6, 7, 8, with the 7, 8, with the 4, and that's Phosphorescence on the end. And that's a $24 ticket. And then we've got the win bets. In the 7th race, got a win bet on the 8 horse. That's the Louis Mendez horse. And then in the 8th race, we've got the win bet on the 4. That's Phosphorescence. So as always, you can add or subtract, or if you see fit, you took it as you see fit. If you want to bet the pick 3 within this pick 5, bet the pick 4, or bet these turf pick 3s, or late pick 3. However you see fit, I wish you the best of luck. Let's get some good trips. Let's wish the folks over at Santa Anita a great, safe day of racing. That's always very important. And as always, I'm asking you to do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button for me. Doesn't cost you anything. It just puts you on the feed, when new content comes up. Like, dislike, make comments. Let's create a discussion. But thank you very much. Best of luck today at Santa Anita, the great race place, and we'll be back tomorrow.